Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Do you know what just happened today? XRP, and I'm going to show you the pair that I'm talking about, but it just hit a level that we haven't seen in somewhere in the neighborhood of like 5 years. That happened today amidst all this chaos in markets, not just in crypto, but in stocks on a global scale. XRP hit a key level against another very important asset that you're going to want to see. And I'm going to share with you perspective in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. Commentary and analysis from 8 different XRP chart analysts, including one who says, yep, $16.50 is coming. And, frankly, there's no shortage of analysts at this point, reputable analysts who accurately called XRP breaking out this cycle. They were right. So many of them are calling for double-digit price action, and it's not like they've stopped calling for that just because of the tariff nonsense that's been spooking markets lately. We are in a bull market still. This has not ended. And look, when we see historic indicators that are like, hey, it looks like the market's getting close to topping, I will be screaming them on this channel. They're not showing, which means unless this time is different, famous last words, the best is yet ahead, despite how it may be making typical lemming retail speculators feel because of the tariff stuff. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, I'm going to start with this perspective from Chart Analyst Mustache. It's a Bitcoin market cap dominance percentage chart, and after this, 100% of the video is XRP focused, 100% of it. But here's what Chart Analyst Mustache had to say. He shared this post with his 153,700 followers on X. And he wrote, Bitcoin dominance again touches a zone that has led to rejection every time in the last 1.5 years. The stochastic RSI, Relative Strength Index, is also in the overbought area at the same time. A bearish cross has now happened again. Looks like we're in for some fun. And so this is one more thing lining up perfectly how you'd hope for it to line up. Because as Bitcoin dominance breaks down, that means altcoin dominance increases. And Bitcoin price can still go up even as Bitcoin dominance goes down. The price can still, I still anticipate it's going to go up. I will not be surprised to see Bitcoin hit a new all-time high and it go for one last parabolic rally to the upside and then finally peak. I won't be surprised to see that at all. But the best part is altcoins. Like, I think that's what we're all here for, right? Is there anybody listening that is most excited about Bitcoin? I'm guessing that's 0% of you. I mean, I hold Bitcoin. I've been holding it since 2017. Yay. But in terms of returns from here, it's the altcoins, especially XRP. That's what I'm excited about. Here's a post from chart analyst X Force Global. I shared this XRP chart and wrote, just a friendly reminder, XRP is one of the only few coins that has consistently formed higher lows for 7 years despite relentless backlash. Okay, so against the dollar, that's certainly true. And so we had to endure all sorts of nonsense, stupid-ass comments from toxic Bitcoin maxi trolls. But, yeah, I mean, hell, even this, if you're just talking about this cycle, even this cycle, XRP bottomed in June of 2022. And so it was trending up even since then. And I was frequently pointing it out throughout 2024. I'm like, what are you got, like, to the naysayers? Like, what are you even talking about? It's been trending up. And we also know, and that's against the dollar, we also know that XRP bottoms against Bitcoin, historically when it gets to a key levels, which I've highlighted in charts, when it matches that level roughly, that is the point of maximal opportunity. And it was again. I was screaming it throughout 2024, and once you know it, it was yet again. You don't have to be a chart analyst to figure out these very basic concepts. I'm not. I'm a dude on the internet with a silly-ass name, Moon Lambo, and I can figure this out. You don't have to be a wizard to get rich in crypto. You just need to diversify, put in a reasonable amount of money, and then you just wait. You do nothing. You just hold, have just broad exposure, and then you wait however many years it takes for it to be sufficiently enticing for you to sell. That's it, in a nutshell. And of course, there's more to it, but I'm just saying, if I have to condense it down, that's what you do. Anyway, then he wrote, also, XRP continues to outpace Ethereum in dominance, even in times of market stress. If that's not strength, I don't know what is. Oh, yes, indeed, it is strength, and that's the XRP ETH pair. And that's the one that I was referencing at the outset of the video. Something rather magical happened today, and not enough people are paying attention to it, so I'm going to highlight it. Although first, before that, I will briefly mention he did note that there's a possibility that XRP could go lower first. He said, all eyes on the $1.40 to $1.50 for now as major support. Will we hit it? No one knows. All we know is that XRP is just one of the few remaining assets that continues to show strength. And yes, it does. XRP is among the strongest of assets in the entire crypto space. And I shared in my last video like a ton of analysts warning, it's at least possible. Not that they had like crazily high conviction, but a number of analysts warning, yeah, you could get back to roughly that $1.50 range, which I shared in the last video, not to scare people, just to show you, hey, this is something that could happen. That way, if it does happen, you knew that it was a possibility. You don't have to freak out. It's not the end of the world. None of them think that it breaks anything in the charts. We still melt faces, go on a parabolic rally to the upside. It doesn't break anything. Here's a post from Crypto Insight UK. XRP ETH potentially breaking out here. And this was just this morning. And he was right, by the way. He says a daily close at this level or higher would be the highest daily close since March 2020. Well, that's something, isn't it? Over 5 years ago. Lots of analysts looking at this pair today. He's got to be paying attention, including Dom. So I got two posts from Dom. The first one is from last night. The second one is from today. So here's the one from last night. XRP ETH. It's been, excuse me, it's been 2 weeks since I have looked at this pair, and I just realized it's grinding to break its multi-year high. Reminder, anytime price fully accepted above those two lines, it has went parabolic. Considering the current market conditions, I am unsure what this even means if it's breached. Either way, we'll be watching closely. Okay, so under normal circumstances, when that breaks, it's going to the moon. XRP going to the moon compared to ETH anyway, on this particular pair. And so what happened today? Well, here's his update. He posted this in the morning. He said, XRP ETH update, entire market down, and we have a 1,835 day high that just printed on the XRP ETH pair. Ooh. Price is now trading over resistance. Next few days should be very interesting to see how this reacts. Yeah, so I'm curious too. And again, under normal circumstances, if history's to rhyme with itself, yeah, just rockets to the upside. These are unique times on a macro scale. Obviously, there are things that are impacting all sorts of risk on assets. So we'll see. But either way, isn't this just the continuation of ridiculous XRP strength ever since the election? The answer is yes. This bitch ain't done. Unless the entire asset class falls apart for the cycle, and that really was it. I'm just saying, if we're going to have another if we're going to have a final parabolic blow off top, XRP is going to substantially outperform other top coins. Substantially. Here's a post from chart analyst Javon Marks. He says, history points to XRP's next wave leading to $16.50. That is a near 8x from here. That is safely within the confines of reality. We'll see if it hits. I don't pretend to know. There's so much historic precedent indicating this is the type of thing that happens in crypto. And you know that when XRP goes, history shows us this too. When XRP goes, oh, it really goes. It's stagnant for year after year after year historically. And I know the SEC lawsuit that exacerbated that particular attribute, that state of being. But it's stagnant, and then when it goes, it rips faces off. Historically, this is normal for XRP. So you can feel like it's just not doing anything. You could feel like it's just not ever going to go. But then it does. That's what happened in November, and we're not done. Each of the last two cycles, market cycles, 2017 and 2020, the beginning there, for each of those cycles, there were two runs and 6 months apart. And that's just what happened. So you had like roughly March or April 2017, then December 2017, about half a year. And then you have November 2021, and then November 2020, and then April 2021. So about half a year apart again. So we're getting kind of close to that point, right? So if history rhymes with itself, we're going to have another final leg up. That would be sooner than later. So there's that question mark of what happens because of the macro factors, but still, folks. Here's a post from Steph is Crypto. He says, XRP will 10 to 30x this bull run. The next 3 to 6 months will be legendary. So, I'm I'm not optimistic for the higher end of that range, 30x. You're looking at what, $60 XRP. That could happen in the future, but this cycle, I don't think there's like a snowball's chance in that. Like that's way too high in my estimation. I could be wrong. I'll be happy to be wrong. But if you're talking like, in the lower end of that, even 10, so like even that still put it at $20 though. Like that's 10 to 15 fold from here. I don't know if it's, again, I don't know if it's going to happen. That's not a prediction even. I'm just saying based on what I've seen in crypto and how prices get bid up quickly, like I know that's safely in the realm of reality. So anyway, he says the next 3 to 6 months will be legendary. Reasons to be optimistic, folks. Here's a post from chart analyst Greg Crypto. Symmetrical triangle, $30. XRP USD chart on the screen here. He says, let's focus on this cycle for the breakout from the symmetrical triangle. Instead of using the triangle's measured move, I'm looking at the last pump from the 2017 cycle, which was an incredible 2,600%. Starting from $1.20, if we see a retracement back to the edge of the triangle, then $30 is definitely within reach. And so there are a lot of ways to arrive at reasonable conclusions as to how you can hit 30. That's $30 XRP this cycle. That's another one. And even if ETH just goes to like, $10 to $15,000, say ETH does peak there, and I know it's in the gutter right now, but if it does, and then XRP matches that market cap, that puts you there. That puts you in that range. That wouldn't be crazy at all. And I wouldn't be surprised to see XRP take that number 2 spot in market cap anyway. Here's a post from chart analyst JD, XRP VIX pair under screen. It says VIX measures fear/volatility of S&P 500 in stocks, but the wicks and candle bodies comparing XRP and VIX look interesting. XRP looks to be correlated with the VIX, also means panicked Wall Street, so-called gurus, LOL, also correlates to Bitcoin. And so we shared a symmetrical triangle chart pattern right here, indicating that typically, if that's indeed is what's playing out, then it'll break out of the triangle, slam back down to retest, and then break to the upside. So then the next part of this will be breaking to the upside. It's one more thing to look at. And with how powerful XRP is here, I'd not be surprised to see it. And then he had Dark Defender here, simply wrote $2.04 worked like magic, because he was expecting that we could see this type of range again, which we did. And news is a factor, but still, I think most analysts would argue, yeah, but that's the catalyst it was going to do it anyway. It's just a question of what the news piece was. But he says XRP has not even started yet. So the confidence not waning for many of these chart analysts. The best is yet ahead, my friends. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.